Trump is a master at manipulating the media with sleight of hand. Trying to figure out what's on Donald Trump's mind is a frightening exercise. But sooner than later, as the polls suggest, the American patience will reach a breaking point.
Guys, we are in a very, very crazy and dark place. I don't even want to talk about Lindsey Graham. You know why? Because I'm sure you brought up Mike Huckabee's private message with Donald Trump, right?
Yeah.
No, I haven't.
Well, we haven't brought it up on the show yet, but
yeah,
I read about it yesterday.
Oh, jeez. If you haven't seen that, you really have not seen the depth of depravity and craziness we have gone to. Yesterday, Donald Trump re-truthed, you throw in quotes up there, a DM Mike Huckabee sent to him, where he said that essentially Trump was sent by God and that the only voice he should listen to on Iran is him, God's, not even Mike Huckabee's, and that Trump is the most consequential president who will make the most consequential decision since Harry Truman in 1945.
Yeah. ...
Wow.
And he said he will remain in the embassy and keep the flag flying even though everyone else is gone, but he must listen to God. I walked away from that as an intelligence analyst with, did Mike Huckabee just request Trump nuke Iran?
That's what he did.
Because that's what Harry Truman's decision was to drop 2 atomic bombs. Holy cow, thank God Mike Huckabee's not the last man in the room, I hope.
Kidding. Well, yeah. Well, according to CNN, Donald is getting war advice from Laura Loomer.
Yeah.
Holy.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to make your head explode.
Oh, no.
Help me, Jesus. This is crazy. Okay, you guys, I swear, I'm not joking. I know during the breaks you're going, write this down. Malcolm will go crazy if I say this. Well, you're right. God almighty, we are in danger, people. If you go to my latest Substack, which says we're in danger, look, we're on the verge of war. War, not just baby war, serious war. War, if the Iranians get angry enough, if Trump jumps in and starts dropping bombs and kills civilians or does whatever, they could close off all global oil out of the Arabian Gulf, which means now it's not just Iran and Israel and the United States. It's Iran and the rest of the world who will not get their oil. Iran will attack the United Arab Emirates, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, Kuwait. We will be back to when in 1988 was the last time I got into a fight this big.
Right.
And back then they didn't have any weapons. Well, guess what they've been doing since 1988?
Right.
Loading up on weapons.
Sure have.
They could attack our ships with hundreds of anti-ship missiles. This is where stupid people don't think about the consequences of their actions. And now I got freaking Whiskey Pete Hegseth and, crazy Laura Loomer, who someday, I swear to God, with Jake Tapper, there's a book you need to write.
Yeah.
Right? How is it Laura Loomer, all right, with her botched facial surgery, is dictating the national security of the United States? Because you know what? I don't know. But there is, all I'm going to say is the word hoochie was probably involved. And people are going to die over it? Really? ISNY.
Yeah, I when I'm agreeing with Marjorie Three Toes about let's not do this, because, her reasoning is it's not MAGA to do this because he promised he was going to be the peace president, remember?
Oh, you've got to sit and watch I'm on panels with these people. You have got to see some of the crazy gymnastics that are going on right now. They're all for attacking Iran, but then they go, but we don't want war. But we should attack the Iranians because we have to support the Israelis. Look, these people are, I'm sorry to say it. If you look at what's actually happening in the world today, they are full-scale, open, full-throated, advocating, attacking democratic cities using the military of the United States. And in the same breath going, well, maybe we shouldn't get into a war in the Middle East. Why? So you can start shooting people you think of as illegal immigrants and liberals? I literally wrote a book called They Want to Kill Americans. And there are people in this government that are thinking, you know, it's more important that we start, militarizing U.S. cities than attacking Iran, which does have a nuclear threat that generally should be neutralized. But the upside down, backwards world of Americans are the enemy, and Iran is something we don't have to deal with, is just freaking me out. Really, Jody. I can't figure it out.
Well, let's talk about something better. How is Philadelphia? Really? How is Pennsylvania this weekend? I saw pictures of you.
That's happy. Happy clappy. Hey, we turned out, on average, 4.7% of the population of all the major cities in the United States. I've seen the lowest estimate was 5 million, but that came out within hours of this thing. The highest estimate I saw was 11.5 million people. I'm going with that. Philadelphia, we must have had 200,000. I stood at one point with Marcus Flowers, by the way.
I saw the pictures,
who ran against Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Yeah.
And we thought the parade would go by us in about 30 minutes. An hour and a half later, we joined the parade, and it didn't end for another 40 minutes.
Wow.
Behind us, Philadelphia turned up, and they were in a 6-lane parkway.
Wow.
It was amazing. It was bigger than Kamala Harris's last, rally that she did there. Philadelphia, the Northeast turned out. The rest of the country turned out. And we've embarrassed Trump. Trump is angry at, Party Sauce Pete because his parade was so awful. And Trump said he was angry because the tone wasn't that they were ruthless North Korean-style military marching, but that they were enjoying themselves and wishing, the U.S. Army a happy birthday and not him. That made everything we did in Philadelphia worth it.
Yeah, it did. I mean, and I assume you also watched some of the clips with the soldiers marching. And they weren't marching. I mean, you know how to do that.
Well, the funny thing is I had some very frank things to say about that on Twitter. What they were doing was called route step. Route step is when you want to keep them in formation, but you're over broken ground. And it's casual, but you want to keep them in a block. No one ever uses route step for a parade, ever. And I said, the first thing I tweeted, I said, soldier sabotage is in full effect. They didn't want to be part of this silly parade. They could have been doing this on their bases with sharp uniforms. By the way, who ordered them into their Army combat uniforms, their daily battle dress, instead of their Class A blue or green and pink and green uniforms, as we call them, where they could have looked sharp? The only people that looked sharp were the professional soldiers of the honor guard and the bands, because that's their job. The rest of the Army's like, yeah, we'll come, whatever.